Ahoy everyone and welcome back once again to the channel. Now in today's video I'm going to be showing you a new release from what is a lot of people's favourite AliExpress brand, Baltany. I think there's a number of reasons why people really like this brand. Firstly, I think it's because they started out by producing military and vintage inspired watches when a lot of other brands on AliExpress started out by producing Rolex, Seiko and Omega copies or homages. So I think they did earn a lot of respect for going down a different route, but also I think people respect this brand because from a technical perspective, they tend to get things right. What I mean by that is they'll use the NH38 instead of the NH35 if there's no date complication on the dial, so then there's no ghost position on the crown. A little while ago as well, I used to complain that the finishing on their leather strap buckles didn't match the finishing on their cases. They've corrected that. So yeah, I think a lot of people do appreciate what Baltany are offering. There has been one, well, I wouldn't say it's a complaint, but observation that I've made in the past, and that is I don't think they've been producing enough watches on stainless steel bracelets. Well, I think they're trying to correct that actually, not because I've been saying it, but I think they've been aware of this themselves. They're about to launch 3 new watches all on stainless steel bracelets. So I will be showing you all of these watches on the channel in the upcoming weeks. The first one I've got in is a sort of Seiko, vintage Seiko inspired dive watch. It's not a homage watch of a specific Seiko watch. I asked them about the design and they said, well, we just looked at a number of vintage Seiko watches and we sort of created our own thing using vintage Seiko watches as our inspiration. And I like that. So it's not really a homage, it's not a copy. Oh, is it an original design? That's tough to know really, isn't it? But yeah, it is an interesting looking watch. There are a few interesting sort of standout features on this watch. The first one is actually the bezel insert. Well, it looks like it's ceramic, but it's got a sort of sunburst finish that's sort of radiating out from the center of the dial. Normally bezel inserts like this are either polished, so they're very shiny and reflective, or they're matte, or they might be brushed in a sort of circular fashion, but this one has sort of radiating streaks, radiating brushing from the center of the dial, which I don't know if I've ever seen that before. It's definitely different. And it just means it catches the light a little bit differently. Also, the applied indexes. We've got, well, a number of different shapes. We've got some circles. We've got a triangle at the 12. We've got some sort of rectangles. I'm sure there's a very specific name for this shape. But yeah, we've got some sort of narrowing rectangles in all the other locations. I'm not convinced by that element. I think that's just a step too far in that sort of reach to be original. The hands, though, gorgeous hands. Definitely Seiko inspired hands. And I've said it many times with Baltany watches, their finishing, like a lot of other brands on AliExpress, is very good. The hands look to be beautifully finished. And when I was looking at this watch under macro, the lume definitely has a sort of vintage pigment look to it. It's actually very good, the lume. I'll show you the lume degrading at the end of the video. But it's also got this sort of marble effect. It's really weird, isn't it? Doesn't seem to impact the strength of the lume. The dial as well is, like the bezel insert, a sort of radiating sunburst effect. So you get a bit of light play off the dial. The second hand has a very interesting sort of square with a circle, a lume sort of circle inside of it. Yeah, when you look at all the individual elements of this watch, you can see that they have sort of taken inspiration from a number of different watches and sort of pulled them all together. I'm not so sure it's going to be everybody's favourite design from Baltany, but I've got to say it's great to see a watch from them, another watch from them, because they have made them in the past, but another watch from them on a stainless steel bracelet, because yeah, their build quality is really, really good, and the bracelet and the clasp, very, very nice. Solid construction, so solid end links, solid links, screw pins, the brushing, the polishing on the case, the bracelet and the clasp, all very, very nice. It is a 200-meter dive watch, so screw down case back, screw down crown. The bezel action is super slick and greasy. It is quite high, the resistance. The clicks are very nice. It feels like a quality bezel action. Have a listen. The clicks are quite quiet, but they're clean and crisp, and yeah, the bezel action is nice. The alignment is perfect. I like the case shape as well. It's, yeah, fairly simple. Again, another interesting element on this watch, something that's a little bit different. The brushing on the side of the case is not horizontal. It's vertical. Normally, the brushing on the side of a case like this would be, yeah, horizontal. And again, that makes for some sort of extra light play on the side of the case. I'm not so sure I prefer it, but it's, yeah, it's a little bit different. That polished chamfered edge that flanks the side of the case is very nice. The transitions are excellent, which always gets me excited. You know, I love a good transition. There's no transitions on the bracelet. The top surface is brushed, the side polished, although there is a transition on the outer shell of the buckle, and that's very nicely done. Unsigned outer shell on the clasp, I should say, not buckle, clasp. 4 micro adjustments. The case back is unsigned, but you do have the signature on the crown. Lovely piece of crystal, double domed sapphire crystal, box crystal with AR coating. One thing that is a little bit odd to me is the decision to put the 5-minute markers or numbers on the dial, because you do have them at specific points on the bezel insert, and so it looks a bit weird that sometimes they match in terms of their orientation, sometimes they're orientated, you know, the other way, one's upside down, one's the right way up. Not sure I'd have done that, but yeah, it's not my design, is it? Yeah, and I'm sure some people out there will appreciate that, but yeah, just an observation really. And one other observation that I'm going to make is the way that the end links fit or attach to the case. Well, not so much the way they attach, but the design. So the end link is quite small. It doesn't fill the gap for the end link. The first link starts between the lugs, but they've already started to narrow that first link before you reach the end of the lug, so you get a gap which you can see through to the spring bar. It's not a major thing, you're probably never really going to notice it, but I've never seen that before. It's not really impacting the overall look of the watch. Again, it's just an observation, fairly minor thing, but yeah, I need to point these things out, don't I? Now the movement's automatic, of course. It's the NH38. There's no date complication on the dial, and as I've said already, they do like to use the correct movements. It does cost them a few extra dollars to buy these movements in. It would have been cheaper for them to just use the NH35, but we know Baltany don't do that. They like to do it right. And so, yeah, 21,600 beats per hour, hacks, hand winds, no ghost position on the crown. Lovely. Right, I'm just checking my notes. I think I've mentioned everything apart from 120 click unidirectional bezel action, and the steel is 316L stainless steel. No divers extension and milled inner elements to the clasp. Now, what's all this vintage Seiko inspired Baltany goodness going to cost you? Well, at the moment, out of any sale, it's $219 US, which I think is about right for this watch from this brand. Fingers crossed in the upcoming 11th of the 11th sale, it will be discounted. So yeah, maybe, well, I don't know, pop it in your basket, tag this video, set yourself a reminder if you're interested in this watch. But do make sure you subscribe and come back. Hit that bell notifications perhaps, and come back and watch the other Baltany reviews, because yeah, they've designed some interesting watches and I can't wait to show them to you. Right guys, as always, thanks for watching.